Oh dear God, first person that turns up and it's Sunny of all people. Well, that's not very nice at all, and I don't think the person who actually owns this will be very happy if they find out that you are the one that cursed it with that ailment. I will send them directly to you, Sonny, and you can get them a brand new one. Seems like a fair exchange to me. Alrighty. Looks like everybody's jumping in. Yep, yep, yeah, lots of hellish people turning up. What have we got here? We got 1041, I think this is. Anglet. I think it's an 1814. Have a look under the microscope. Hey, Jason. Sonny claimed that this is going to be a dead CPU. Yes, 1814. So you can blame him if it ends up being that. So we've got 1303. Jeez, I've got so many flippin'... Okay, jobs, and more jobs. Let's see, board 8200. What did I say? 1814? Yeah. Update. I actually don't know what the fault is on this. Although that is freaking ominous. That is really not good. That is, someone got a screw jammed in there and they've punched their way through the trackpad cable and done damage to... yeah, that's a screw got stuck in there or something, I think. Anyway, like I said, I don't know what the fault is. I'll just get the battery maybe disconnected and see how it behaves. Battery disconnected, Paul. Yeah. It's been pretty flat out, to say the very least. It's I think I did about a dozen machines over the weekend, which is quite a lot more than my normal weekend rate. Yeah, Jason, this is let's see, last name Sousa. Okay, it's just powering it up. 5 volts, 0. Well, that's actually a positive sign. 5 volts and absolutely no current is actually an encouraging type of behavior. Hopefully it will not be like one of the jobs that I did have to do today where someone had been here before on the board. It was a 1700, 820 1700, which of course, is pretty much doomed anyway from the moment it was sold. But someone had tried to reflow, I don't know whether it was intentional or not, but they reworked the speaker amp chip and they did not put it back down properly, the new one, and it was tilted off to the side. Instead of being flat, it was like that, and they smushed a bunch of balls together, and of course it caused a PP bus short. But they also had done the same thing with one of the SSD VREGs, and I think it was the SSD VREG that actually killed it. So it probably actually might have started out as only a short on the speaker amp chip, which is surprisingly common, but they went looking for trouble around the SSD because of the fact that it's a fairly signature fault on these machines, or on those machines. Created a bunch of new problems and destroyed the board. G'day Jim Hook. Hey, Coda's here as well. Hi Phil. Good to see you, Andre. I can't speak. Jim Hook. Don't know how that came out, Andre. Teresa, Travis, whom I will duly ignore so that he feels appreciated. Let's see. Oh, and I have a bit of a story to tell while I'm doing this. Does anyone remember that A1466 we did a couple of nights ago, or a week ago? And we fixed up the board, fixed up the backlight and everything, but then the screen was blinking on us. And we switched over to my test chassis screen and it was fine. And so I thought, okay, we've got a faulty screen and all that. So I changed the screen on it, booted up, and lo and behold, the damn thing's still blinking. And I'm like, no way, this is just annoying as hell. So I thought, fine, I'm not going to bother trying and fix the board, because yeah, all the backlight section was redone and everything. So I thought, stuff it. I'll just replace the board, because it was only a 1.4 gigahertz 3437, so yeah, not a major board. I've got plenty of those spares. And so I replaced the logic board, booted it up, and it is still doing the blinking. And I'm like, what? I said, how is this even happening? It was just absolute madness. Anyway, to get you all out of suspense, it actually turned out to be the DC in board that was at fault. It was the lid sense switch that was just intermittently kicking in and out. And that's why it seemed like a backlight failure, because when it goes into sleep mode, it first kills the backlight. Or I should say, it first puts, when it's waking up, it first puts data to the screen, then fires up the backlight, and the reverse happens when you shut down. So you would see the remnants of an image, like the Apple logo or whatever, on the screen, and you would see the backlight coming on and off. So symptomatically, it seemed like an intermittent backlight, but it wasn't. So that was a expensive for me runaround. What should have been a fairly straightforward board repair and then a DC inboard repair turned out to be a little more expensive. It became more expensive because I disassembled that screen, the 1466 screen, hunting for the fault that didn't exist. And I guess that goes to show that you often have to do two-way testing. You test to prove that the fault is on the device, and you test to show that it's not on that device. Yeah, you sort of do a full swap either way. Because I only did it the one way. I put a new chassis on the board, or a new board in a new chassis, and it worked fine. So I presumed it was the screen at fault. But it was not. It was not. So yeah, that cost me a screen. Not really what you want to do. Hey Dadamras, quick question, 1707-28.1 can't work with... Can it work without physically... if you remove all the CD3215s, I believe it can work. I don't... You're going to be the prover or disprover of that. But I have seen and heard that a few people, if they get desperate and they just can't solve a CD3215 issue, they'll take them all off, put a charged battery onto the system, and then just wirelessly transfer the data off. Coda, Phil, I see you've been plundering your financial reserves to try and pick up trashy machines. I haven't had a chance to watch your videos because I've been busy trying to fix these machines here. Seriously, it was incredible the stack I had. I think it was about 30 kilos of machines. Then again, being the MacBooks, that doesn't take much to... Okay, this is a classic signature fault. It's a signature fault, but it can also lead to a complete death. Now, when these first started doing this, hey Sodomizer, God, you get me every time with that damn name of yours, honestly. When... Oh, thank you, Dumraz. Okay, so this here is a cap that is on the input rail to the VREGs that supply the NAND. So like if you flip the board over, that cap is just behind here. This is the VREG. and we should get 2.5 volts out that goes into the NAND. But what happens, and hopefully this one's not too bad, what happens is this corrosion here, it goes on for so long without shorting out the board that it gets down into the circuit board and it creates caverns full of carbon until eventually it reaches the output line and shorts it and causes you to have a dead NAND. Now originally these were coming in well before they would go that far. They would just short out the cap and that was it. And you'd replace the cap and bam, you're back in business. But lately most of them have been burrowing away, creating carbon out of fiberglass. We are very lucky here. See that resistance is 500 ohms. That's a good resistance for the NAND. So it means the NAND rail hasn't been raped. But the input line that's on the same rail as that one. So we're going to knock that off. If it's no good, we'll just couple it up here. But this may actually be repairable. Data on that machine is not so potent. Sad thing is, Jason, even if data was, even after fixing this, you can't change the NANDs unless you change them as a group. At least not until such time that we have a way of reprogramming the NANDs with whatever information they need in order to be able to be accepted by the new system. Because I have, and so have many other people, tried to replace a single NAND and it just doesn't work. I try to see if I can get a little bit of leaded down, but it usually refuses. The real problem is this side here. The Series X, you're talking about the Xbox. Yeah, it wouldn't be so bad. Like I said, you can change it, but you have to change all of the NANDs at once with another board that has good NANDs. And the trouble is with these machines, 90% of these machines are failing because of NAND failure. So this is going to be one of the few series of MacBooks where the replacement chassis and screens are going to end up probably being cheap, simply because there are no main boards left that work. Hey Catherine, kitties are good. We're still waiting for Micro's vet to get back from holidays, and then we've got to talk to her and see if we can get a renewal of the prescription without having to take him in, but we'll see. I've still got a couple of weeks worth of insulin on hand, thankfully. So this was just starting to carbonize a little bit, but it hasn't gone down, so that's good. Oh, Andre Sudlock. Sorry, I didn't see your message there. Your client is very happy with the coffee spill MacBook fixed up a while back. No. I gotta admit, I can't quite remember that, mostly because I have so many coffee spill MacBooks. Okay, this pad isn't looking the greatest. And I think I might... can't decide whether I'll leave that alone or not. I think I might put the... this is one of those situations where your brain keeps flipping between whether you will or whether you won't. I'm thinking I'll couple it to the other one because this will just flake off, and I can see one of the vias is almost disconnected there. I'll be better off just sort of covering and protecting this from future corrosion. Yeah, you can see one via stalk's already gone. Hey, Tony W. Now, I don't think there's too many animals that enjoy going to the vet. Maybe young puppy dogs or something, but not much else. Hey, Jaden, evening. Hey, Tony W. Come on. Alright, so what we'll do is we'll just couple it along the side there. It doesn't really matter in terms of resistance. You're not going to get better being on top or on side. It's going to be the same. So Phil, how's your queue these days? You running out of room or needing more? Hey, Rilla. Okay, let's try not to chuck this up. Work has been kind of quiet. Oh, that's not good. Quiet as in a concerning way, or quiet as in just well, it's another, it's a fairly normal lull. Okay, I gotta stop messing with that. Hey, Raj. With me, I went straight to the vet because it broke. Oh, God, no. And obviously, with animals, legs breaking is a really bad problem. Yeah, because obviously they're on them all the time. Like, it was extremely difficult for us. Well, less difficult, I suppose, but with Luna, when she had her pelvis broken, that was 6 weeks of we couldn't do anything other than just make sure she didn't overexert herself. It was just one of those things where you had to hope and pray. I don't know about the praying bit, but yeah, you just had to hope that she would end up healing okay. Thankfully she did, and she's got a pretty good... you really can't tell too much that she ever had a broken pelvis. Hey, Joho. Jason, the people at the time that were where she was, they either threw or kicked her. We don't know. We didn't bother to try and find out, but we basically just took her from at that point, and then we raided the place that afternoon and got all the kittens. Oh, I've got a cough. Yeah, we staked out the place. Then when it was clear, ran in, grabbed the kittens and ran out. And because we couldn't get the RSPCA or anyone like that to do anything for various reasons. Hey Pedro, I agree. I completely 100% agree. I've got no time or inclination to support the preservation of people who do things like that. As far as I'm concerned, they should basically just become fertilizer. Warren, we won't do anything with those vias. They don't go anywhere else except for the bottom of that cap. And since that cap is no longer there, it's not going to be a problem. There's a teeny tiny bit of spot corrosion going on here. We'll just see if we can lift that up. That there, of course, is that's the on-off Touch ID button connector. Yeah, Kato, actually, I noticed that when you were streaming, and I was like, huh. But I didn't bother saying anything, but yeah. Hey, everybody's having to change names of their cats because of someone else having that name. Alright, I think this board is pretty good. I'm just going to check the output resistance here too. So basically, with these NAND outputs, you want around about 600 ohms, I've found. $500, that's tolerable. There should be depending on the build, there'll be a second one. Depending on how much storage you got. Yeah, that's really messy, but yeah. You know when the NANDs have failed because it will give you about 7 ohms, and that's about it. So if you see 7 ohms on your NANDs, then when you may get your 20 volts back after you fix up the regulators, but what will happen is it will just sit there and it will do 20 volts, cycle back to, it'll go up to about 200, maybe 300 milliamp, then drop back to 0 and do the cycle again. And if you take it to Configurator 2 on a MacBook, and you try to revive the system, it will look like it's doing something, and then all of a sudden it'll come up with general error, general access error. So you will get access to the T2 system, but because the NANDs have failed, it just sort of goes, can't do anything here, and gives you the virtual finger. God, these things are such a pain. It's always one annoying little flex somewhere that doesn't want to play ball. Okay. Now I'm really hoping this works for you, Jason. If it's functioning, but it's a little bit messed up internally in terms of its drive state and things like that, it will sit there at probably 0 or very low current, but it will stay constant, and then we can just put it onto the revive and hopefully it'll come up. I've had a few machines out of that batch of 12 that I did that had to go through that process. Now I don't know about the 1814, but I know the 1041 doesn't really want to come up unless you've got it battery connected. I can never remember which ones are which. There you go, and you go, and yeah, that should about do it. I suppose I better put the privacy filter on. I'm out of practice with the privacy filter at the moment because, like I said, I've been doing repairs on my own, which I've got to say is fairly nice. I can get 4 or 5 machines done pretty quickly, assuming they're not rabbit holes. Just had to replace the screen on my son's phone. Let's see how long it lasts for. Oh. Okay, there we go. We've got fan spin, 1.2 amps, 1.3, so we do have charge. We don't have a display yet. Okay, that's a good sign. Yeah, so these ones do seem to want battery. So that may be a fixed job there, Jason. Very, 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 very lucky. But we still don't know how the trackpad's going to behave with that hole punched into it. certainly no good for the battery. Okay, we're just going to let that sit and charge, see how it comes up. We'll get on with another job in the interim. Yeah. I also haven't had any time to even play with my CNC machine. It's just been all ready go. I had a phone call even. Let's see, okay. Don't count your chickens just yet. No, won't count them absolutely, but at least is looking fairly positive. Oh wow, look at that. It actually came through from the underside. That is crazy. Someone center punched it. Madness. Did 3 PlayStation 5s last night from midnight to 3 a.m. That's, yeah, it is so much quicker when you're not dealing with the peanut gallery. Oops, sorry, didn't realise you guys were all there. Yeah, the peanut gallery. It's entertaining, but it is definitely, if you do have a large workload, the first thing you want to do is turn off the gallery, I'm sorry to say. I hope no one takes true offence to that, but what the hell? I did not see. Where did you come from? Oh man, okay. Did not realise I had this job sitting in the queue, so I'm definitely going to have to deal with it. It's from one of my bigger businesses. Which means I'll have to first take the bottom panel off. The only trouble is, because I've received a large shipment of machines from one place, I just sort of ploughed into them non-stop. And as a downside, you do tend to forget about other jobs. And I'm not actually talking about you, Jason. I'm talking about someone who sent even more machines. How would you fix that ding? Let's see. Basically, if you just put it onto something maybe like this, or a bit of stiff rubber or something like that, and then you can just tap it with a hammer, and it should eventually push out. There will be a bit of a bulging, but it's going to be better than having that stabby stab in there. Through the scope cam, I'm getting dark halo. Oh, okay. The dark halo is because your reducer is not reducing enough. But then again, if you have a 0.35 reducer, that doesn't make sense, or does it? No. Yes. No. Yeah, no, you should not be seeing a halo with 0.35. Oh man, this thing's had a great big zip blow up then. If you've got 0.5, I would expect to see a halo if you've got like a 3/4 or half-inch sensor. But with 0.35, unless you've got a 1-inch sensor, if you've got a 1-inch sensor, then okay, you've got bigger issues. Send me your details of what you end up getting, Jason. Hopefully I can point it out. Alright, so what do we got here? This is a 1989. Is that a 1989? Sometimes I get confused thinking they're 1706s. But that is a colossal battery pimple. You'll see a halo in your Barlow lens. What? If you I don't get that. I can switch my Barlow from 0.5 to 0.7 and I don't get halos. Assuming when he says halo, he's actually meaning what he's seeing are the walls, the cylindrical wall of the viewing scope, the tube, as opposed to a optical aberration or fringing causing a halo. So yeah, it really depends on what the halo actually is, whether it's a physical black obstruction of the walls or whether it's refraction issues or interference, optical interference coming up. I don't know. The Barlow, like I said, it really depends on what you want. I use 0.7. It gives me about 130 millimeters of working height. 0.5 I find a little bit harsh on my neck because you've got to lift up so much. And there's also a deterioration of the quality of the image with a 0.5. It's not massive, but if you switch from no Barlow, we're talking about the main Barlow, if you switch from no Barlow to a 0.5 Barlow, you really do notice the deterioration of the optical quality. Unless, of course, you're so rich that you can afford like a Carl Zeiss Barlow. But then again, if you're that rich, you probably wouldn't have an AM scope. See, Coda, for your sort of stuff, yeah, 0.5 makes more sense. For this sort of stuff, 0.75. For iPhones, no Barlow, generally. Although I stay with 0.7, 0.75, just simply because it's a convenient all-rounder. But certainly when I have to start dealing with more boards that are like PlayStation boards, then yeah, the 0.5 is something you'd probably prefer. You are using a Zeiss lens. What? How rich are you? Jeez. I would love one of them. Assuming it matches, that's the trouble. You really do notice the difference between standard optical stuff that you get from, say, like Amscope versus high quality stuff. It's like with camera lenses. You know, people sort of go, "Man, what did you pay $1,000 for? An extra half f-stop?" And it's like you do notice the difference when you're really pushing for that shot and you don't have enough light. You want to get that as many. You want to get that f-stop down as low as you can. But Jason, what is the actual brand of your microscope then? Or is it more of a generic one like what pretty much all of us have to use? I would have thought you'd be going for Olympus, to be honest. I actually quite like Olympus optical gear. Though they don't really get quite the exposure that other brands get, like Nikon or Kodak, Canon. APR. That's Cecilia from Poland. Wow, this machine seems to have more screws than I'm anticipating. And I'm fumbling with them for some reason. SDB. And I love it how they change from T5s over here and then they want T4s over here. It's like, was it really that hard to just stick with T5 all around? The difference is that these ones are coming off the keyboard. Wife has a Hasselblad? Gee. Yeah. To think I was happy as a youngster with my Nikon FM. I remember the worst lens that ever had was it was a 500mm mirrored telephoto, so it was quite compact, which was deceptive. It was only about that big, rather than more like that if you have standard um, a spherical lens system. But the downside was that, oh my goodness, it sucked light so much. So you could be the middle of the day, and you were struggling to get a decent shot at AS 400. Yeah, if you want to do any sort of speed. Okay. Still, it was fun. It was a fun lens, but it was somewhat impractical, really. Hey, Greg. Now what we're doing here is we're heating up this Touch ID Flex, because they hate being peeled off from the board directly. If you just try to go in and grab them, you'll tear it. It's kind of like the iPhone 7 in some ways, or onwards, when they changed to the new Touch ID buttons. There we go. Okay, we don't even know what we're looking at in terms of a fault on this machine. Oh wait, yes I do. Battery's damaged. Right. This could be an actual one that needs a brain to use it. 1286. Scroll. 1286. See the battery's damage. One of it has had an event that caused logic board damage. Disconnect the battery and test the power. Fan spins on. Chipmunk only powers light stay on. Oh right, so no 5V. 5V comes up but intermittently, and no CPU activity. Yee. Well, straight off the top of my head, given that the battery did that, I would sort of be looking at the ISL on this one. Have you gotten used to the button on the outer? No, it still catches me out more often than I would care to admit. But wait, I just did admit it. Oh well. Yeah, it still catches me out. It's like I'm sitting there and thinking, why is this thing not, doing its job? And then I realise, I misjudged the button press. Yeah, if I can't find any genuine looking damage on here, then my first protocol would probably be ISL, or maybe 3v3 generator, but more than likely ISL. This board is looking problematically clean. Oh yeah, you can actually, I don't know if it shows up on camera or not, but you can actually see some trace routing going on here. It's like weird. It's subsurface, but you can see it. Go on, yes, the 850. That's so many of these boards in the last couple of weeks. Maybe it's just their time to shine, or not shine really. There we go, for all the Nintendo Switch fans. Alright, plug a USB meter in this, see what it does. Kind of surprised they didn't just go and replace the battery and try it. Unfortunately, I don't have a chassis for this one on hand, so 20 volts, 100, 150, 140, 700. This thing's booting. Yeah, this thing's booting. It could be that the battery is messing with the I2C lines. Pedro, what are you gonna go kill now? Yeah, that's pretty catastrophic. I might have just yanked this out when I should have just tested it with the battery. Now it'll be... Jesus, Travis, you're just a hostile man today, aren't you? So, what's with all the hostility, people? Don't you like to come here to see repairs? Are you not entertained? Clearly not. Clearly, like primitive audience in the Colosseums, you just want to see carnage. Oh, you decide PCH is going to be your definition of hostile. Fair enough, and I've trapped a flex. Fortunately it's not. Come on. I'm doing better in 7 days to die, but the thing holding me back right now is the damn crucible. Still can't find a crucible or a schematic for a crucible, and it's getting rather frustrating. I've got pretty much everything else I need. But yeah, not being able to produce forged steel is a right pain in the backside. Guess we can't have everything. I even dumped points into Lucky Looter to see if I could, come across a crucible and some junk. Hey, Prater. Jim, I see you've gone for your cockatoo avatar now too. Alright, so here we go. I have a feeling this is going to boot, and it's basically just... Well, I'm hoping it's going to boot, and basically we just simply have a bad battery. Pardon me. Yeah, it's fan spinning. Thanks, Freda. I haven't even had a chance to jog it properly yet. Like, all I've done is some manual commands from the terminal line. But, yeah, I haven't even connected up to software to do any sort of software jogging. Okay, what's going on here? Okay, so we do not have display. We do have fan spin. This does not have a discrete GPU. Really, Jim? A couple of months ago? Oh, man. Hey, Copaz. Okay, do we have no display or do we have no backlight? That's the question. Alright. Let's get the USB-C adapter out. Interesting though that it's stuck at sort of 1 current, which is kind of weird. And the fans are spinning pretty hard. Extra weird. It's not... I don't think this is just a simple no display. There seems to be something else at play here. Alright, where is my test display? Ah, there it is. I had to change the orientation of this room a little bit. Yeah, okay, prepare to shield your faces a little bit because I'm going to appear on screen momentarily once the camera fires up. Hello camera, nice to see you. Let's see. Face cam. Haha. It says, no face cam for you, Mr. Daniels. Oh, great. There it is. Alright, as you can see, the air conditioner is now missing. No, pants are on, yeah. We had to move the air conditioner from there to the other window, which, let's see, over there, you can see the air conditioner. It had to be moved because Milo, let's get this just right again. Milo discovered he could jump on top of the air conditioner, jump onto the carport, which wasn't a problem. We were fine with him jumping on the top of the carport. But from the carport, he takes a massive jump and he managed to get onto the actual roof of the house. And that's not a good thing. Fortunately, we noticed he wasn't around, as in my sort of 15-minute check sort of stuff at night. And yeah, he wasn't anywhere that I could normally find him. And it was at that moment we realised that, oh dear, he's probably gone onto the main house roof, and he had. And so I got the ladder, ran up there, and he was working his way over to the other side of the house, which is where he can jump off and actually get out of the property. Fortunately, we managed to get him before he did that. Yes, clever micro, as in Jurassic Park style. I could do that, Jason, but in the end I'm kind of happier with where I've put the air conditioner now. It now sits under the eaves of the gable roof, so it's a lot harder. Yeah, you basically just can't jump up from there, and we did block the eaves as well. I would say Milo probably planned that for about 15 minutes. Hey Harold, how's it going? Cats are excellent at finding weaknesses in your defenses. Yeah, this one's actually a bit of a quirky one. Not sure what to think about this. Anyway, needs to say we are not getting any output. That's not to say it isn't putting output, because with these newer ones, they sometimes don't put anything onto display by default. It's a new security feature, which is also known as a pain in the ass. Damn it. We'll see what the CMI Zapper says. Actually, I should use the adapter for this one. Yeah, Milo and Loki are fairly adventurous. I mean, they're the youngest two males that we have. And so yep, they do get up to strive. Loki was particularly bad when he was about a year and a half or so old. It was so bad that I had to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, take him out to the far end of the property and watch them. Okay, yeah, this is, okay, see? This light here, that's 5 volt, and it's flickering on and off like that. So this might be a short on the rail. It's not guaranteed it's going to be on the 5 volt rail. It could be on any rail, but it's bringing the system back all the time. Did Micro show any signs of remorse? He just pretended that he meant to... Oh, he was very proud of himself after we got him back down. He was all chuffed and walking around like, I did that. Yeah, But then now, whenever we're outside, I can see him eyeing off that roof. And then he will spend time at the window over there looking a little bit quizzical because he's like, where did the air conditioner go? I need that so I can get on to the carport. So sorry, buddy, you can't have that one. Coda decides he's going for the 3v3. Well, the trouble is, you know what? I don't know. Let's just start random. We'll do it the professional way and just start randomly checking for shorts. First I want to see what that is. 1.1 for the CPU. Yeah, on these new machines it's often that. Yeah, that's pretty low too. Alright, let's see what we can do. 270. Looking good so far. Alright. A little lower than I'd expect. Or at least if I think I know that rail. So that's 3v3 RTC. And it's just a bit lower than I would have expected. 6 amp max. Yeah. U6903. Is that TPS 62180? Yep. Of course it's TPS 62180. What else would it be? It's always that chip because I can't get any more of those chips at the moment and I've got a very limited supply. Alright, let's see what it gives on that rail when I plug it in. Oh, wrong. Wait, where are you looking, Paul? Yeah, it kind of helps if you measure voltage. A lesser meter would be dead by now. Okay, that seems fine on that rail. 3.3. Oh, you guys can't see that. Oh, sorry. I thought it was displaying in the schematic as well, but bugger. No. But yeah, we've got a very steady 3.39, so that's not a problem there. Dun, dun, dun. I think I'll give it another visual look over. I'll start looking for something like a popped cap or something like that. Miles, what do you got 2 of? Sorry, I missed the start of that. Well, what was I even asking about? I can only hope you're talking about 850 chassis. Geez, Coda. Yeah, just blow all your hard-earned cash, eh? I hope you get the advertising income from it. Oh, TPS 6218. Oh, right now I've got about 10 or 12 left. What I'm going to have to start doing is actually taking. Is that a mark? Ah, damn it! It's a piece of hair. See, the trouble is, if you get something like the 1700 board, you clean it up and you put the new TPS 62180s on it, and then you confirm you get your 20 volts and you get 2.5 volt on the NAND, and you leave it there. So even though the board is actually then dead, you don't take it back off, partly because oh shit, that is not a normal place for that. That is a terrible place for that, in fact. That's been frothing away. Yeah, what are you? Surprised I didn't see that, to be honest. I'm a little disappointed in myself. In fact, severely disappointed. So let's see, ground and VCC EDRAM. That actually kind of might make sense. Enable filter buffer. Maybe not quite so much sense. Okay. Actually fixed the SSD one from Friday stream. Strange, I replayed the SSD and worked great enough to be. I was going to say, yeah, they don't last very long if they've got to be recovered like that. Hey, look, that's right next to the GAY chip. Now, yeah, I'm just trying to work out what I'm dealing with here, because like, is this cap actually affected at all, or is it just simply a bit of sideline collateral and I haven't got my continuity on? $34, that's okay for that. So alright, I think, yeah, this is the real damage here. That actually has broken off apart. I can feel there's a gritty piece here, and that's half the cap, and yeah, that's a catastrophic failure. Now the icky bit here, and it's gone through on that whole chip, to be honest. I can see there's corrosion on the other side. The icky bit here is its position relative to the CPU, which is basically right underneath it, which means it's going to be frustrating to get it to come up. I'm not really worried about it damaging the CPU, reflowing the CPU. That is very hard to get done. I'm just more not wanting to stress it too much. Yeah, let's clear away some of that so I can get a better idea of what I'm dealing with. It is a good thing about doing this recorded is I can always go back if I accidentally eliminate my liquid damage hints. I can go back and go, aha, that's where the liquid was. Is there a bug body? I think, well, there certainly were those little fairy wings. So it is possible that a bug crapped on it and caused that problem, but got vanquished as part of the process. So what we will do here is we will remove that and that. I'm not trusting that cap. There's definitely something that's bonded hard there. So yeah, the cap and the controller, the gate rather, we will replace. Now, hopefully, we actually have some of these. Hey, Toast Tech and Wongwei, welcome. Well, we don't know if we're going to have a win yet or not. But yeah, my biggest problem is, can I get this off without... this cap over here is probably going to crack. But there is no way I can do a Jessa Jones kickoff type rip job with this. I have to get it up with heat. Okay, at least that's gone. I can smell... okay, oh yeah, that's a fine bit of bridgery under there. Sent you a MacBook Pro today, opened it, looked at it, closed it and packaged it. Oh, nice. So it's going to be like a lucky surprise dip for me sort of thing. So I never know what I'm going to get in the mail in the morning from you. Okay, I lost that cap, I don't know where it's gone. Oh well. Normally I like to keep all my parts, baggy them up and put them into my big job box. Okay, fortunately it doesn't look like we've got any real damage there. So if we clean it up and replace the parts for parts, assuming I can find a replacement part, we might be good. Do a video of opening that one. What? Opening what one? Oh, all the contents are dead, right, got it. Should I ultrasonic it first? I do get paranoid though, because I did have a customer machine come in once, and it... oh, I just picked up that. Oh well. 3 parts to replace now. So the only trouble when you use a big tip is there's a bit of collateral damage in terms of things that get collected. Let's see. Yeah, so I had a customer machine come in. This is like 8 years ago now, and it had those, well, I guess what people call German roaches. They're just all different sorts of weird little roaches in there. Most of them were dead, but there must have been 1 or 2 that were still kicking. And it infested my room for months and months and months. It was very annoying. Alright, now comes the fun part, because actually maybe I do have an 850 donor for this. I just realised many moons ago I bought a chicken body, and it was an 850 chicken body. 840, no, where's my 850 chicken body? I got an 840, a 928, I could have sworn one of... someone's taken my 850. Some bastard has come into my house, sniffed through my stuff, and explicitly stolen the 850 body. Yes, that's the only explanation that makes sense. I'm just covering this with flux. Keep it protected. Hey Keith McDermott, not too late for you. It's normally you're popping up and around about this time. Alright, so let's see. U7712. Okay, so what, you're a dual Schmidt buffer. Okay, so basically what this is used for... actually, they've got it in a... oh no, it's not an inverter. They're basically just using this as a signal cleanup. making sure it's nice and sharp and there's no noise triggering going on. You could be really dirty and sort of go straight from there to there, but there's probably rail differences. Okay, so we've got 3v3 here. What are you coming off? 3v3 there. They're both 3v3. But yeah, for the most part, it's to sharpen up the clock, the square wave, and also to buffer it from this side. Needless to say, we need to find one of these. Not one of those, one of these. Wrong way, this is the latest Ubuntu. I think we'll go for, that should do it. Yeah, this is the 2204. If this ends up as being just one board having it, mainly being the 850, I'll be a little bit upset. Fortunately, things like the 7.4 series, you can get them from almost any place. Element 14, Farnell, 1598, of course that's going to have it there. It's not really a taskbar on the left, it's more of a launch pad. Wow, I cannot believe it. Only 1598 and 1987. Wow, that sucks. $15.98. Luckily I have one. Yeah, there's no denying GNOME is actually not something I really like. I've not been a big fan of it, ever. Okay, let's hope this is it. Alright, there it is there. That's our chip that we want. Pin 1 is up here. And I'm going to guess those two caps near it are going to be the same as what we want to. See ya, Coda. Ah, damn it, I got a cough. I've sort of become too lazy to even try and change over my desktop manager or my window manager. Personally, I only really need a window manager. Oh, that noise, that pop. Hate hearing that. Alrighty. Okay, so we've got pin 1 over here pointing to that cap. And in our case, we need pin 1 down here. So we weren't too far off in the orientation. Hello, Junji, sipping. It tried tricking me then. It pretended that it was down, but it was not. What the hell? 330 picofarad? My god, the madness of the people picking these things. 100 picofarad. Oh, what the flip. Okay, so this one here is 100 picofarad, and this one here is 330 picofarad. Very frustrating values, because it's not really what you typically keep in your box. maybe the 100 picofarad, but even that's a push. Do you usually stick with the LTS? No, I tend to go with. I basically just follow the releases as they come out for the most part. Yeah. Oh, what's this? Oh no, no. No, we definitely do not have those caps on hand. So we are going to have to steal from another board. Hey, Christos. They're not even for RF decoupling, really. I'd just say they're for very high speed noise reduction. Clearly they feel like this line has a noise problem, or is at risk of a noise problem. Fortunately, I was right. The circuit is the same on the other one. Okay, so 100 picofarad was the top one. Yes, this is 100, so they'll probably be 330. All the while, we actually don't really even know if this is actually the fault. It is a problematic area, but is it what's causing the problem? I don't know. Okay, we're not going to put too much heat on that. We're just going to go back and grab that 330, and then we can warm them up together. Yeah, just had to double check that was the 330, and it is. Shakes are starting to develop. Almost time to go home. Beep. Whew. Yeah, that's quite right, Miles. It's definitely something that I'm very appreciative of my past self for having coded into it. Like I said, I've got to stop saying words repeatedly. It was certainly one of those features where initially I didn't know how useful it was going to be. I was kind of half expecting it to be a dud one. But it has saved a great number of boards from considerable delays. I mean, well, walk out of the room. We've all got to start by walking out of the room. But does it really matter how far I do or do not have to walk to get to my fridge and my TV and my bedroom, my admin office? Click, click, click. Clickety, clickety, click. Oh, I did it again. So easy to do with this one. There we go. It actually wouldn't cause any dramas if it did get snared down there because it has tape over the back and there are no contacts on the back. The contacts are on the underside. But it's still not a good practice to fire up a board when you've got snared cables underneath. Just in case. Richard Head Gaming. Oh, don't tell that to people like Lewis. He had to walk, several kilometres to get home the other day. Okay, 5, 200, 20, 70, 130, 200, 700, spinning. We were getting the spinning before. Okay, let's stop spinning now. 600, 700, 500, 400. It's kind of bouncing all over the show at the moment. Okay, it's sort of holding at 500, and here we go. Here's the fan spin. We're not going to hear a bong because there is no. Yes, Apple logo. Oh wow, well that's a new one for me. I have never had a fault on that section in the past. Jason, I think he was walking because he was drunk or something like that. So he was being responsible by not riding, I presume. Suck on that for all the people who said it was going to be PCH or GPU. You can all just, yeah. It's German. This is Deutsch. Yeah, I guess the PCH is dead, Travis. Alrighty. Now, fortunately, because that was actually a very small amount of work, I'll clean that up with just, there's no point in me doing a full ultrasonic on this board given that it's actually in a fairly clean state. That is one thing that I am happy about with this particular new business place that's sending me a lot of jobs, is they're only after data and they actually don't want them ultrasonic unless it's absolutely necessary, which is great. Saves me a hell of a lot of time. Obviously the battery's going to have to be replaced, but I will advise the business that they'll want to do it themselves, which is fine. I'll say just get the data off the logic board first, which they would anyway, and then go to town, do your battery replacement, whatever. But so long as I've done my job, it's booting, and then this goes back to them, and they're a MacBook group, so they can do the battery themselves. Yeah. Sonny said it was the CPU. I see he's not around to accept his prize of disdain from me. Oh well. Alright then, well that's it. We've got 2 machines done tonight. That's pretty good going. We've got one from Jason, one from this other group here, and we both were lucky enough to have successes. The machines like what Jason had there, Jason Cosgrove, normally, like that's about a 50-50 situation. If you're lucky and it shorts itself before it eats into the board too much, you should be able to revive them. But other times, yeah, not so much luck. I will make one point of caution though with those sort of boards. If the cap that is shorted is on the 2.5 volt side, the 2V5 side, even if you take it off and it jumps back up to 600 ohms or whatever, that the normal sort of reading instead of 6 or lower, replace the voltage regulator on it. Because what I've seen happen a couple of times is people have taken the cap off and the short goes away. They put a new cap on or they leave it off, doesn't matter. But when they don't replace the voltage regulator, sometimes it's already failed, and so when they power it back up, they lost that window of being able to recover the data because the voltage regulator was damaged and it just kept spitting bad volts. And because the short was removed, it went through and actually killed the NAND. So no, it wasn't me that did it, but I've just seen it. So it's a bit of an unfortunate thing. If it's on the input side, it's not a problem, but if it's on the output side, the 2.5 volt side, you do need to really replace the regulator as a precaution. Sometimes you get lucky, it's okay. I'm just saying that in case you are a tech and you haven't had to deal with that before, then hopefully that might save the data for you. Alright, I'm out of here. You all take care. I don't know when I'll see you next. Could be a couple of days. Who knows? We'll see what sort of workloads are coming in. In the meantime, catch you later.